Hello, my name is Malcolm Ross, and this is the Appian 22.3 product announcement webinar. As you can see, I'm going to be joined today by a number of distinguished individuals from Appian who are going to help me share some of the great features being released in Appian 22.3. Before we get into the content, though, I'd like to talk about a few highlights of upcoming conferences with Appian. First, of course, is on October 27th, we're happy to have, again, returning in-person conferences in the Australia, Sydney city area. So on October 27th, if you're in the Australia area, please mark your calendar. We look forward to seeing you there. I am planning to also travel down to Australia at this time period, so great chance to connect with people once again in person after these many couple of years of lack of travel, we'll call it. And of course, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area where I'm based, looking forward to seeing you also on November 2nd, where we're going to again be holding our government public sector conference at the Ronald Reagan Building in downtown Washington. And finally, on November 15th and 16th, we'll have a two-day conference for our European attendees at the Intercontinental Hotel in London at the O2. Again, look forward to seeing you there. I'm planning to also travel to London. Great chance, again, to meet up with all of our customers and professionals who practice on the Appian platform or want to learn how to leverage the latest capabilities of Appian. For more information about all these events and registration for them, check out our Appian events website, which I'll push the URL for you right now. To get into the content for today, we're going to talk about Appian 22.3, of course. 22.3 is the third release for Appian this year, and again, that regular quarterly cadence. Expect the next release coming in November of this year with 22.4. But of course, 22.3 is going to be GA on August 19th, so if you're a cloud customer, you'll be able to schedule your upgrade at that time. And of course, for our on-premise customers, you'll be able to download the latest version of 22.3 from the community website. Today we're going to be covering our process mining, low-code interfaces, development, data, automation, our Solutions Hub offering, admin cloud and support, and community capabilities. And to start with, we're going to talk about Appian process mining. To help me out with the introduction to Appian process mining and the latest features, I'm going to invite Alex Yu, product strategy engineer with Appian, who focuses on our process mining product. Alex, over to you.
Thank you, Malcolm. Let's dive right in. It's easy to feel overwhelmed with an increasingly large and complex set of tools and processes that keep your business competitive. It can be hard to track process performance, from identifying wasted time and rework to catching critical compliance violations. And even after identifying these problems or opportunities, it can be hard to communicate the scale or impact of these issues to make a decision. That's where Appian Process Mining can help. Appian Process Mining helps you make sense of your process data, discovering the bottlenecks and inefficiencies in your processes, visualizing variance in execution of your processes, and gaining insights into opportunities to improve them. From data preparation to process analysis and ultimately process improvement, the Appian platform enables you to identify opportunities and make the right data-driven decisions for you. This all begins with your process data. In order to start mining your processes, you will need an event log, which often requires connecting data from multiple IT systems. Our solution, Mining Prep, enables you to perform complex data transformations even without in-depth technical knowledge through pre-configured transformation actions. Appian Mining Prep provides an easy and low-code experience connecting to your process data sources and preparing that data for process mining. So as we continue to expand our offering of standard database connectors, we're thrilled to offer a brand new out-of-the-box low-code connector to MariaDB. Once you've connected to your process data source, you'll need to help process mining understand that data. Mining Prep now automatically suggests date format strings when converting date strings to timestamps. Additionally, Mining Prep now also catches potential attribute type mismatches, such as text values in a column expecting numbers that could otherwise cause errors. Now that you've gotten your data connected and formatted with Mining Prep, you can explore and customize visualizations of your processes and begin your analysis. Appian Process Mining automatically generates easy-to-read diagrams of your process flows. By configuring this diagram to display your own KPIs, or by using our fully customizable no-code dashboards, Appian Process Mining can give you the information you need. Appian Process Mining can also be used to generate or modify target process models with its built-in BPM and modeling tools. These target models can be used to express business requirements for your process, such as compliance requirements or stakeholder expectations, which can be used to understand how much your processes conform with or deviate from your target. From there, you can perform root cause analysis to find the underlying reasons for any deviations or issues you've identified. With our latest release, getting started with process mining is as accessible as ever. We welcome you to explore our beginner-friendly process mining course series on Appian Community, where we'll guide you through key process mining concepts, how to leverage mining prep to transform your data, how to mine your process for insights, and much more. From there, you can put your newfound knowledge to the test and give Appian Process Mining a try through Appian's free Community Edition. You can request access to Appian Community Process Mining on your Learning Journey page. We look forward to seeing what you can discover and build with process mining.
Thanks, Alex. And I really encourage everyone to follow those links and check out the Appian Process Mining tool. It's a great addition to the overall automation suite of Appian to discover more insights about your enterprise processes. And continuing on, let's talk about Appian's updates to our interface design capabilities. First, talking about mobile, Appian's happy to release the Appian for Intune support on our Android mobile application. As you may recall, Appian supported Microsoft Intune on iOS earlier this year, and happy to now complement that with Android as well. Microsoft Intune, of course, is a mobile application management platform. MAM allows IT admins to retain complete control of the Appian app mobile application, usage, and data encryption using Microsoft Intune. In addition, Appian has an update to our charting formatting, specifically when it comes to formatting integers, decimals, dollars, and euros. Many times I need to represent, say, dollar or euro amounts on a specific chart. As you drill into the specific chart configuration now, you'll see an option for formatting specific measures. So you click onto the measure area. Down below, you'll see format value to choose one of our predefined formats for automatic, integer, decimal, dollar, or euros as an easy configuration for you. In addition, Appian has enhancements to the box layout styling. Specifically, the box layout now allows for adjustable header font sizes. You can choose large, small, medium plus, large plus to give more emphasis to your box layouts. In addition, you can set the heading tab for accessibility for automatic screen readers to more easily identify the headers of box layouts. And finally, we now support showing and hiding the border of a box layout, as well as showing and hiding the shadow effect of a box layout. You can explore these again simply by dragging and dropping a box layout into an interface design area, and then seeing these new configuration options in the right-hand no-code design experience. Now, going on to our Portals capability, we're happy to release custom typefaces. You can set custom typefaces if you're an administrator inside the admin console under the typefaces configuration area. Here you can load custom typefaces from your own library of typefaces or from the public internet. As you can see here, I have three options loaded in my admin console: Open Sans, Tahoma, and Latin. And once you apply these, you can redeploy an Appian Portal environment using the Portal Deployment Manager to see that effect inside your Appian Portal. So to see an example here, of course, Open Sans is the default for Appian Portals and for the overall web app experience in Appian. Here you see Open Sans text typefaces. But as I change this to the Latin typefaces, now you have that granular control to control the font typeface across all your portal and overall Appian experience. Now, when it comes to interface designers, many times we want to reuse rule components inside an interface, having reusable interface sections. It's a common best practices for building these composite interfaces. To make it easier to configure those rule inputs, we now have an option as you click on that little drop-down menu for a rule area to quickly navigate to the rule input configuration for a sub-interface. So you can see here I go to the configure rule inputs. I can now see all the expected inputs for that specific sub-rule to have that sub-interface component, and then easily configure those mappings to my process variables or other expression logic. Now, going on, we have an exciting announcement around a new website experience called design.appian.com. To help me introduce this, I'm going to invite Charles Shoy, who's our Chief Designer at Appian, to talk more and share more about what we're bringing forward with design.appian.com.
Thanks, Malcolm. We can all agree on the importance of great user experiences. We want to build apps that look beautiful and are easy to use. But developers don't always have the time or expertise to achieve great UX results. That's why I'm excited to announce our new SEO design system website. Now you can navigate to design.appian.com to learn about Appian's latest low-code UI capabilities and recommendations. Visit the inspiration gallery to see a variety of dashboards, forms, and landing pages built with our SEO components. We'll keep sharing new examples here to show you how to get the most out of our features. Browse the extensive UI patterns library every time you're designing a new app. Here you will find guidance on how to build a huge variety of page layouts and interface component types. Not only will you find ideas and tips here, but we've also provided sale expression snippets that you can easily copy and paste into Appian Interface Designer. Get a head start on building great looking UIs while maintaining the flexibility to customize each pattern to your particular needs. Finally, if you're onboarding a new Appian developer or UX designer, point them to the Getting Started topic for a quick introduction to our unique approach to low-code user experience. They will learn about how Sale differs from high-code front-end frameworks and the time-saving benefits that Appian delivers. Please visit design.appian.com and share this news for your teams. Keep checking back as we have a huge backlog of new topics that we'll be adding in the coming months. More examples to inspire you, more patterns to accelerate app development, and more guidelines to create the best UX. Now back to you, Malcolm.
Thanks, Charles. And I hope everyone takes that opportunity to follow that pop-up offer for design.appian.com you see right now. Moving on, let's talk about the new low-code development features introduced in Appian 22.3. And to start with, we'll talk about the new applications view. Now, a lot of you saw the overhaul being enacted on Appian's design time experience in 22.2. We're happy to announce a new update to this with a new recent applications open and edited. So now we log into the Appian Designer console and see the applications view. You'll see the most recent applications that you viewed or edited highlighted right there at the top. Kind of ease in the navigation, allowing you to more quickly pick up where you left off in your application build out. In addition, navigating to the new Explorer view will show a new hover action when you hover over specific design objects. This will give you more access to the name and description of individual objects, giving you a little bit more clarity as you navigate to the core elements inside the new Explorer view. Also, we made deployment navigation easier through a new highlighted actions for the export, import, view packages, and compare and deploy. You'll see these present to you in the upper right-hand corner now in the new Appian development console when you click on the build view. And finally, we've also improved the global search for objects. Now when you do the quick search in the top-hand navigation bar, we'll show when objects were modified and who modified them. So if you see a lot of common object names, you can quickly find the elements that maybe you modified or another developer you're looking for, and exactly when it was modified, giving you a little bit more insight to the object that you might be searching for. Now, when it comes to the Appian Process Modeler, a lot of you might be happy to see that we're brought back that Data and Functions tab into the expression editor in the Appian Process Modeler. For those of you familiar with the old expression editor in the Process Modeler, you might remember that there was a Data tab and Functions tab, which made it easy to navigate all of your process variables, activity class parameters, and core task and process properties. We brought that back now into the expression editor inside the process modeler, along with all the powerful features of the modern expression editor. So now it's easy to quickly navigate those objects and see those core tasks and process properties you might want to use when crafting expressions inside a process. And speaking of updates to the Appian Process Modeler, we also now make annotations more clearly represented in process documentation. When you go to the Tools, Generate Documentation action inside the Appian Process Modeler, now when you have annotations with connection lines to activities or events, you'll see these represented inside the documentation as you produce that. Also, in regards to our connected systems capabilities, Appian's proud to announce that we now support OAuth 2.0 SAML bearer assertion flows. So now when you build a HTTP connected system, it can now use OAuth 2 SAML bearer assertion flows for authentication to any RESTful web service. And for our professional developers, when you're building component plugins using the integration SDK, you can now use any file type. For example, you can use WebAssembly and its associated files to build a component plugin using the language of your choice. This expands the ways you can build component plugins, as well as the functionality you can create with them. Some permitted file types now include .mem files. For example, binary data with hard-coded strings, color profiles that are included in our C++ code. The binary cannot be fully loaded without these being available. .res files, or resource data required by the SDK. This includes basic fonts, color mappings that are stored outside of the code and loaded before we start viewing component plugins. .wasm files for WebAssembly files. .gzip for compressed zip containing service workers. A lot of variety now exists in building component plugins with a new ability to include any file type. And now moving on to our low-code data features with Appian 22.3, we're very happy to announce a new no-code data modeling capabilities. So when you create a record now in Appian 22.3, you no longer need to have an established data model or CDT for which you base that data model from. As you want to create new records with new data models, you'll have an intuitive no-code experience for building that, along with intuitive abilities to relate those to your existing records as well. In addition, if you have existing relational database-backed records you'd like to modify using this no-code experience, you can take your existing records as well that are database-backed, go ahead and modify those by adding or modifying fields just as you would in creating a new no-code data modeling experience. And also, very exciting news that we now support the record type for process variables. This allows you to declare process variables of type based on a record. Again, this eliminates the need for going through CDTs as an intermediary to update and write and read information from records. As I need to work with a record data model inside a process variable, I can simply declare a process variable of that record type and then easily store and update information necessary for that record in subsequent actions. We have also improved the variable data type selection menu. So this allows designers to more quickly select data types when creating process variables with faster search. In fact, it's so fast now that we've removed the old browser behavior. I guarantee you'll find what you're looking for in just a few clicks using this new optimized search capabilities for our data type architecture. And finally, with our record type updates for Appian Process Modeler, we're happy to introduce a new write and delete record smart services. This removes the need again to go through CDTs as an intermediary to update records. As you declare records now, you can simply use the write and delete smart service to allow designers to add, update, and delete database synced records. Also, changes are automatically synced in the Appian system as you perform these. And if you have errors, you have a parameter to pause on error, allowing for granular control on error handling. So if you use these records-powered smart services in your process model, you can leverage associated functions like abang write records and abang delete records to add and delete data directly from an interface or expression as well. Now, these are exciting new features which change the way you kind of build applications in Appian. Again, eliminating those steps of data type model and design as your intermediary to define the foundation of a record. You can now directly go into define the data model of a record in the new no-code data experience. To share this a little bit more, I'm going to invite Josh Linder, our Senior Product Manager for Low-Code Data, to provide a demo of these features. Over to you, Josh.
Thanks, Malcolm. I'm excited to show you new low-code data capabilities coming in the 22.3 release that make it easier and faster to work with record types. With codeless data modeling, you can create new record types from scratch without writing any SQL. Additionally, the new Write Records Smart service has streamlined creating and updating records data so you no longer have to use custom data types. Today, I'm working in an order management application. Right now it tracks orders from our customers, but we need to add the ability to track the items in each order. I'm going to build out this order line item record type for this. Here, I have a new option to create a data model when I don't already have an existing table. If you don't know SQL, this option will take care of the database changes for you, so you can still build with Appian's powerful low-code data features. If you already know SQL, this option can save you time building basic tables or adding a field. Here, I can select any MariaDB source to create my table in. I'm going to start by creating some fields to track the information I need about each order line item. All right, that's a good start. I already have a list of items and a list of warehouses in my application, so I'm going to create relationships with those so I can build interfaces and reports that show the order line item with the related warehouse and item data. This will allow users to see all the relevant information at once when I generate interfaces or reports. You can see here the required common fields are automatically being created for me to support the relationship I choose, so I don't need to figure out the right database design to facilitate this relationship. Here I can review what I've built so far. When I click Save Changes, the database table for this record type will be automatically created for me. Great. You can see I also automatically downloaded SQL, which will help me deploy this table to a higher environment when I need to do that later. I was able to create this record type data model without writing any code, and it was really easy to set up because the typical fields that I needed were created for me already. So now that I've saved my changes, I can immediately start creating views and actions for my record type, and again, not having to touch the database at all. I'm going to set up the ability for my end users to create new order line items. With the new Write Records Smart service, which is included in this process model here, you can generate streamlined record actions without using custom data types or data stores. Now, as you can see here, we have less objects to maintain, and it'll be much simpler to make updates to my record action in the future. One thing that I just realized is I should probably add a field to this record type to track whether or not the order line items were fulfilled. We'll go ahead and add another field here. Okay, I'll go ahead and save my changes. And the database changes have been taken care of for me. So now that I've added my field, because my record action uses the Write Record Smart service, the only other thing I need to do is update my form interface for the record action to use this new field. I don't need to update my custom data type or my data store, which saves me time. So I was able to now build this record type to track the items in each order and where they're sourced from. I was able to build this out really quickly without touching the database at all, and I even added a new field, and again was able to save time by not having to update other objects.
That's awesome, Josh, and look forward to everyone getting their hands on this with a 22.3 release coming up in August 19th. But to expand on what we're also introducing in Appian 22.3, happy to also announce that we've expanded the number of rows per record to 2 million rows. This is really a reflection of the success we've had in the customer adoption of this new data sync architecture. We introduced this in 20.3 2 years ago with just about 50,000 rows per record, and now up to 2 million rows per record of syncing all your data and creating these powerful composite data models to rapidly build applications on top of. In addition, we've also made it easier to modify your functions from the no-code query editor. Many of you might have used the no-code query editor now to build your queries very easily through an intuitive interface that we see here. Now you can go back and hit Command or Control-click on that query record type function. It will automatically open up the no-code query editor to get that same no-code experience to modify your existing queries. In addition, we made it easier to filter relationships by null values. This is an update to the query filter function, which now allows designers to filter a record type relationship when an operator is set to either is null or not null. Again, a small enhancement here to do those null checks and make sure you filter out that null data when referencing related records inside a core record. Now also with the Sync Record Smart service, which was introduced in several releases before, this is an action that allows you to trigger a synchronization of data from your composite data model into that synced architecture in Appian. Now you have a retry on Sync Record Smart services that will automatically retry the sync up to 3 times if the smart service fails. Something that's easy for handling those errors, so you don't have to go in and manually resolve those. It will automatically retry 3 times to go through any of those errors if maybe a web service was being throttled or some other issue behind the scenes. Now also we have an auto refresh on the record view. This specifically means that when the sync, write, or delete record smart service is used in a save into function, so this is specifically when you're using the expression function inside the dashboard, the record view will automatically refresh to display the latest data. Great feature that prevents you or doesn't require you now from inserting your own refresh or end users to refresh the data. As soon as the data is written, deleted, or synced, it will make sure the latest data is always shown to your end users. Now, this next feature is specifically around custom primary keys. There's a feature in relational databases, specifically with MariaDB and Oracle here for Appian, to set what we call database sequences. Sequences are special ways for which I want to count and iterate on a primary key. So here, for example, I have an example in the screenshot that says my sequence name is 10iterate, which I actually set that to be starting at 100 is going to be the first value. And then as I create new primary key values, I want to iterate by a value of 10. So 110, 120, 130. Database sequences are great for allowing you to create custom primary key values rather than standard just numerical iterations. Appian now will automatically discover these sequences in MariaDB and Oracle systems and automatically allow you to set the primary key field to use these custom sequences inside the relational database with that simple click Control and drop down to select the sequence name. We also improved the autosuggest for record fields, as designers can now reference a record field in a process variable, activity class parameter, or rule input, or a record variable by simply using the dot notation. Again, those intuitive controls are available to you inside the new expression editor in the Appian Process Modeler to quickly reference the fields that you're looking for across the entire Appian platform. We also improved the real-time custom field evaluation. This specifically applies to math operations and null value replacements, which are now processed in real time for custom fields. These functions can use related record data and relative date and time functions like today and now. So every single time a user goes to view a record that includes these custom fields, it'll process those custom fields in real time on that user's request to make sure the latest data and calculations are always relevantly shown to the end user. In the Appian records type design experience, there's also an update to viewing the diagram of your data sources. No longer do you see those individual generic relational database icons, but now I can see how a composite model is being built for multiple different relational databases. In the screenshot below, I can see I have a composite data model with a few sources coming from MariaDB, represented by that seal logo. I also see one service coming from this web service icon. And then finally on the right, I see one of the other points of information coming from an Oracle, noted by that Oracle icon. So this allows you to better represent and reflect the composite data nature that you're building inside the Appian record type designer. We also allow for access to data store connected systems from plugins. Specifically, in a few releases ago, we introduced a new way to define connections to your data sources using the standard connected systems architecture. You no longer need to create those data source connections inside the admin console, and you can use those data source connections as reusable objects as those connected systems. To make it easier for custom plugins to refer to those data sources, we now have this function called the abang get data source for plugin function that allows you to look up a data source connected system referenced by a constant, and it returns to be passed into a plugin. So again, you don't need to reference the data source name. I can simply reference the connected system via that constant and using this function to make sure that plugin can work effectively by referencing the correct data source. And now moving on to our automation updates with Appian 22.3, we're very pleased to announce an expansion to the Appian low-code RPA recorder, which now supports Windows application recording. So in this release, you can now use the task recorder to record common interactions such as a click and set value in Windows applications, including Microsoft Office applications. If you use Windows applications in your business, the task recorder can now help you quickly and easily automate those processes using Appian RPA. You don't have to rely on separate or manual development tools to create actions and capture data needed for Windows automations. Instead, you could build robotic processes even faster and automatically without interrupting your flows. We've also made it easier to start recording in both Windows applications and browsers, as well as switching between them in a single recording. To start, launch the task recorder and then choose to launch either a browser or Windows application. While you're recording, you can switch between applications or launch new ones so you don't have to interrupt your flow. The task recorder captures your interactions in each of these applications and lets you know which application you're recording in. To demonstrate this, I'd like to invite Tien, one of our product managers in Appian RPA, to demonstrate the new recording capabilities. Over to you, Tien.
Hi, I'm Tien, a product manager for Appian Engineering, and I'm excited to introduce the new and improved RPA task recorder. With our latest release, Appian 22.3, developers can now record their interactions with both browsers and Windows applications, making it even faster and easier to build complex automation. The task recorder automatically creates and configures low-code actions based on your interactions with the screen, giving you a working robotic process in just a matter of minutes. To get started, launch the task recorder as usual from the Robotic Process Designer. All you need to do is specify a resource and the task recorder will open there. To begin recording your interactions, you'll need to first select the application that you want to record by using the Select Application drop-down menu. As you scroll through the options, you'll see a list of browser types and Windows applications that you can launch directly from the recorder. You'll be able to access this list of applications throughout recording, ensuring that you can continue seamlessly without interrupting your flow. When you choose a browser to open, the task recorder automatically creates the appropriate action for you and populates it with the URL that you navigated to. As you interact with the browser, such as clicking a drop-down or retrieving a value to store, a new action is recorded and displayed in the task recorder. Some complex automation use cases require interacting with more than just browser applications, which you can now do in a single recording. Here, I've opened Chrome, navigated to the FDIC site, where I retrieved key bank information like name and address, and save them into variables that I can use later. The next step is to then open a legacy Windows application where I need to input this information. To do this, you just scroll through or use the search bar in the menu drop-down to help you easily locate and switch to your next application. For Windows applications, you won't need to rely on manual development tools to create and configure actions anymore. In this release, with Windows apps, you will be able to capture your interactions with menu items, edit fields, as well as buttons. Simply interact with your application as usual, and the task recorder will create the actions with all the information it needs, such as control types, selectors, and interaction types. Previously, developers had to manually grab this data from third-party development tools, but now it's all provided automatically for you. If the task recorder can't capture your interaction with a certain area of the screen, you'll see a message indicating that the element won't be recorded, so you can configure it yourself in the drag-and-drop Robotic Process Designer. Once you're done recording, you can name this action group and then exit. The task recorder automatically generates low-code actions for you based on your interactions, saving you time from having to configure them yourself. Now you can then make the small tweaks needed to make your process dynamic, like replacing manually typed values with the variables that you saved information into. When you're ready to execute the robotic process you just built, you will save your changes, then choose a resource to run the process on. As the robotic process starts running, you'll see that it successfully opens and navigates to the browser URL specified, then collects information, and then opens the legacy Windows application next to create a new data entry based on the values of the browser, completing the work exactly as you recorded. With these latest changes to the task recorder, building a robotic process has never been easier or faster. As a business analyst, new developer, or experienced developer, using the improved task recorder will give you a great head start on your automation.
Thanks, Tien. That's a great addition to the Appian RPA capabilities. To build on that, though, we also have a few more updates, specifically for those of you who are still using the Java development capabilities of Appian's RPA orchestration. We've now made Appian RPA more reliable because it put limits on the Java-based queue methods that could consume too much memory. To ensure queues remain performant during robotic process execution, we're deprecating two Java methods within the process queues module, the reserve queue and the download queue. Reserve queue is being replaced by the reserve queue page, which allows you to control the amount of data and consequently memory the robotic processes consume. If your robotic processes use either of these methods, additional warnings will appear in the execution log to let you know your queue exceeds a certain size. These methods will be unsupported in a future release, so we advise customers who are using Java development to build individual robotic process actions to update the robotic processes and use alternative Java methods for working with these queues. And finally, we invite you to show off your automation knowledge and experience by taking our RPA and IDP Pro Badge exam. Pro Badges are skill badges intended to demonstrate the proficiency and skill in one area. Pro Badges cost less and they expire after 18 months and are intended to show a specific skill not covered currently in certifications. However, a certification of any type is required to earn this Pro Badge. This exam focuses on the various aspects of Appian's automation suite, including when to use smart services, integrations, business rules, and with particular focus on implementing robotic process automation and intelligent document processing. You can find this and other certifications on Appian Community. I encourage you to follow the pop-up offer being offered right now. Moving on, our next topic is going to be about the Solutions Hub, and an architecture approach of how Appian makes solutions more easy to manage, configure, and upgrade. To support me with this, I'm going to invite Brian Graney, Senior Product Manager of Appian, to review the Solutions Hub capabilities with the Appian product. Over to you, Brian.
Thank you, Malcolm. Hi, I'm Brian, a Senior Product Manager with Appian Engineering. I'm excited to introduce you to the Solutions Hub. A solution is an application designed to solve a specific business problem or meet an industry need. Solutions are sold by Appian and our partners as individual offerings or as an integrated suite of 2 or more applications. The vast majority of our solutions customers leverage implementation teams to configure and customize their solution before going live. A solution requires the team to quickly become familiar with an application they haven't built. They then need to configure and customize it while keeping any future upgrades in mind. The Solutions Hub makes it easy to configure and customize your solutions in a standardized, upgrade-friendly way. Every Appian-built solution comes with the Solutions Hub. Here, you can view all of the Appian-built solutions on the environment in one place without having to sift through Appian Designer. Click into one and you're guided through the configuration and customization process. Whether you're a new or experienced developer, you'll be sure you're aware of the tools available to you to tailor the solution for the customer's needs. First, you're asked to utilize the configuration options the solution ships with. The solution's configuration sites are linked here for easy access. Click into Connected FS Settings. You can see we have a variety of options available to us to tailor the solution for our use case. Workflow, data, tasks, alerts, and group membership can be configured here. Next, you're guided towards supported customization, using the features available in the Solutions Hub. Supported customizations make upgrades easy, since no out-of-the-box objects are modified when making these customizations. They also give you the full power of Appian Designer to fit the solution to your needs. We'll go over each type of supported customization in just a moment. Of course, you can still make other customizations outside of the Solutions Hub. Just be sure to keep track of your changes so you can reapply them when upgrading. The supported customization options within the Solutions Hub include brand, text, image, and functional customizations like workflow, user interfaces, and business logic. The brand section offers a way to customize the solution's logos and coloring to match brand guidelines. This includes site logos, favicons, accent, and chart colors, or any other coloring the solution allows you to control. Once set, these values aren't changed on upgrade. If the solution has imagery, this too can be customized under images. Again, custom images will persist on upgrade, so they do not have to be recustomized with each new version. We often find customers want to tailor the terminology in their solutions. Each Appian-built solution is internationalized, so localization of the text is easy with the Solutions Hub. You can search text in the hub and make appropriate edits. You can also add new text by using the Add Text feature. This is useful if adding text in support of a customization. Whether editing or adding text, the Solutions Hub prevents you from having to download bundle files and make updates manually. These changes are also preserved on upgrade of the solution, so you don't have to reconcile those custom edits with shipped text. Want to extend a process, add a new report, or adjust the business logic within your solution? Each Appian solution offers a different set of functional customizations dependent on common use cases. The Functionality tab provides supported customization templates. These are expression roles that can be edited to customize your solution. For instance, Financial Services allows you to add integration options to the System Administration Center. Once customized, changes are preserved even when upgrading. All customizations made via the Solutions Hub are added to a custom objects application container. The deployment guidance shows how to deploy the solution depending on whether you've customized and whether this is a first-time deployment. You can be confident your deployment is run in the correct order. While supported customization via the Solutions Hub is constrained to a development environment, the Hub also offers a configuration export and import feature, which is available in any environment. This feature allows you to export a set of database stored configuration data from one environment and import it into another, without the need for custom migration scripts. Simply select one or more configuration groups, click Export, and you have a file of configuration data that can be imported into another Appian Solutions environment. In your target environment, you simply click Import, at which point you can upload the file. You're given an option of either combining or overwriting data. When combining, the uploaded data is used without deleting or deactivating existing data on the environment. When overwriting, the uploaded data is used while also deactivating existing data that does not exist in the uploaded configuration file. There's even a preview screen so you can quickly see a diff of the changes that will be made on the target environment so you have confidence that your configurations will be made correctly. Made a mistake? Appian takes a snapshot of the target environment's configurations before import so that you can roll back those uploaded configuration groups as they were prior to import. All of this and more is provided as an audit on a History tab. The Solutions Hub is our enablement center for all Appian-built solutions. Each Appian-built solution offers brand, text, and image customizations. Common functional use cases are included as supported customization templates in the functionality section. Configure, customize, and go live. Upgrade and repeat. That's the mission of the Solutions Hub. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks Brian. And again, many of you can experience the Solutions Hub as you become a customer or use one of the Appian solutions. You can learn more about these, of course, on the Appian website or community.appian.com. Moving on now to talk a little bit about the updates with 22.3 in relation to our administration, cloud, and support capabilities. First, we have a new Audit UUID for tracing deployments. The Audit UUID for deployments is now consistent across environments, making it easier to track changes through DevOps pipelines. In fact, you can use the a.bang deployment function, which now also returns this consistent cross-environment Audit UUID. Again, this makes it easy to identify as I have a universal unique identifier as I build a deployment from dev to test to prod, and the deployment package traverses these three different environments. They all have a consistent audit ID, making it easy to trace the deployment history of any package in the Appian platform. In addition, we also have a new specific database view called Appian process.slow_log, allowing designers to identify slow queries. This, of course, will be included with Appian Cloud customers who use the Appian Cloud database built on MariaDB. Now, this specifically log records queries taking longer than 2 seconds to execute. You can see it by simply typing in the SQL command in your Appian Cloud database console, select star from Appian process.slow_log to execute. For our US GovCloud customers, we now have an offering with Enhanced Business Continuity. Enhanced Business Continuity offers cross-region backups with also a 4-hour recovery point objective in the event of a region-wide failure. So again, Appian GovCloud customers can now sign up for the Enhanced Business Continuity offering with cross-region backups. This provides replication within the United States between East Coast and West Coast United States. And it does require customers to have an established advanced or enterprise support agreement with Appian. For also Appian Cloud customers, we now support HSTS preloading, which is enabled by default. HTTP Strict Transport Security, or HSTS, is a website security policy that protects websites against man-in-the-middle and protocol downgrade attacks, as well as cookie hijacking. We've added the AppianCloud.com domain to the HSTS preload list, improving security on all requests to Appian Cloud by enforcing the use of HTTPS. HSTS preloading is a security enhancement built into the web browsers to enforce the use of HTTPS encryption for accessing a predefined list of domains. This global list is maintained by the Chromium project and is hard-coded into major browsers, including Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. The benefit of a website being on the preload list is that the browser is already aware that the website requires the use of SSL or TLS before any connection or communication takes place. removing the opportunity an attacker has to interrupt and tamper with redirects that take place over encrypted HTTP communication. Appian Cloud currently allows you to connect to your self-managed resources through AWS Private Link from your Appian Cloud sites. In this release with 22.3, the prerequisites and setup requirements have been updated to require new changes. The private link endpoint service that your AWS administrator creates must be configured to auto-accept connection requests. You must provide an endpoint-specific DNS hostname for each endpoint service that can be used within your Appian Cloud environment. These required configurations are only applicable to new private link connections that need to be set up. Existing configurations will continue to work as configured today. With our log updates, Appian administrators can now easily analyze the lifecycle of user sessions using the new logout-audit.csv file. This new log will capture important session information, including the logout reason, session duration time, and common unique identifier in login-audit to provide quick analysis. Historical analysis of user sessions has been possible with login audit information, but the logout details have not been available. A new logout-audit CSV captures this session information necessary for that analysis. Speaking of, you can now easily analyze this again by comparing login-audit files together using a session UUID. You can identify now total session duration time, looking at these specific indicators such as user session has expired, user manually logs out, log out from user renaming, or log out from user deactivation, or log out from a maintenance window applied to an overall environment. This is great information again for tracking the full session history of individual users in the Appian Cloud environment. Customers that use SAML authentication also now have the ability to configure a Remember Me period for their environment. Enable this to allow users to stay signed in to Appian for a certain number of days before asking them to sign in again. You can even set the duration separately for web users and Appian mobile users when using a SAML identity provider on top of either. Also, administrators can now authenticate email sending domains using Domain Keys Identified Mail, or DKIM, to improve email security and deliverability. DKIM is an email authentication standard that prevents spoofing of a domain that is used to deliver the email by allowing receiving mail servers to validate the authenticity of the received email. The feature includes adding a domain for DKIM signing of outbound emails, generate public-private key pair and selector for a domain, manually execute verification of public-private key pair and selector DNS record, viewing details of DKIM configuration for a domain, and removing a domain. In addition, keeping your plugins up to date has never been easier. Now you can update a plugin with a click of a button from either the admin console or the plugins tab in the build view. You can see which plugins are outdated and update them from the same view. And if you need to roll back within 3 months of your update, you can revert to the previously installed version of a plugin just as easily with a new revert action. And now moving on to our Appian community updates, I'm excited to invite April Schupel, Senior Developer Advocate for Appian, to give us a little bit of information about what's new with Appian Community, the App Market, and Appian Community Edition. Over to you, April.
Thanks, Malcolm. And I'm very excited to be walking you through our community updates. Let's start off with the App Market. Our App Market has new apps and updates being added all the time. You've had the ability to subscribe to updates for a particular plugin, utility, or solution from their listing on the App Market. In 22.2, we made tracking updates on plugins even easier with a feature that allowed you to see in the admin console which plugins have updates available. In case you missed that or you don't have update notifications on, here are some of our most popular plugins that have had updates since last quarter. In 22.3, we've also expanded component plugin capabilities by allowing you to use any file type when building components. A great example of expanded functionality in action was brought to us by Andrei Safonov and his team at PDFtron. They expanded their PDFtron web viewer component to utilize WebAssembly technology. This means the component can execute C++ code directly in the browser without having a server-side backend. That translates to it being more scalable since you don't need to worry about having servers, and more secure since your documents don't need to leave the browser. The app market is not the only way to see the great things our community is building. The past 2 years, the Live Build Challenge has been a highlight at Appian World. We're very happy to announce that we're bringing the Live Build Challenge to Appian Europe. Here's the timeline of important dates. The application period will open on August 15th and close on September 26th. 4 participants will be selected and notified on October 3rd. Participants will receive a free conference pass and hotel stay. And then November 16th is the big day. Participants will show off their Appian skills in front of a live audience. The winner will get a guaranteed spot in the 2023 Appian World Live Build Challenge. Make sure to keep an eye out for the application form on Community. That's not the only reason you'll want to make sure you're regularly checking Community. We're bringing you a lot of exciting things. A totally reimagined community experience that will be coming in 2023. A learning and product-focused Appian Community YouTube channel that will be coming very soon. And, as a reminder, every community member can get their very own free and unlimited time use Appian instance. You'll want to make sure to get your Community Edition site so you can check out all of the great preloaded applications. A new app that is now available in all Appian Community Edition environments is the Net Zero Carbon Learning application. You may recognize this app as it was the same one that was highlighted during the Appian World product keynote. We're always working to improve the developer experience and make sure that we're providing resources for developers to be successful. Another thing that we announced at Appian World 2022 was our new Low Code for All program. The program guides eligible participants through a clear learning path to complete their Appian Certified Associate Developer exam at no cost through our scholarship program. Upon passing your exam, we'll work together to provide hiring resources and job opportunities through our network of participating partner organizations. If you know someone that you think would make a great Appian developer, encourage them to apply at appian.com/lowcodeforall. Between product announcement webinars, make sure you're logging into Community regularly to stay in the know about the latest resources, initiatives, and events.
That's great, April. But before we sign off, I also want to take an opportunity to congratulate you, April, and all the many team members in our training organization on the publication of our new YouTube channel called Appian Community. You can check it out. I'm going to send a pop-up offer right now for those live attendees, but you can see on YouTube there's a new Appian Community channel, where we're using to aggregate all the interesting and developer learning content. So if you want to quickly understand RPA, records architecture, how to get certified, what certifications are best, lots of great content's being uploaded now all the time and is already established there for you to browse. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for attending the Appian 22.3 product announcement webinar. As mentioned before, we're going to expect our next release with Appian 22.4 coming up around November of this year. So stay tuned and look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much.